on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Finally, some green in the markets, right? Bitcoin has broken out of this pattern right here. We had a beautiful move, actually, from bottom to top. What do we have here? 8%. When it actually hit the top, it was almost a 10% move for Bitcoin. So we knew that we were seeing oversold conditions. We had multiple weekly candles, and finally, we're getting that bounce. So what do we need to pay attention to on the short term? That is what we're going to talk about today, and also the fact that there is an extreme signal that has just flashed for the first time since the 2020 Bitcoin crash. So how relevant is that, and what does it mean moving forward for Bitcoin? Is it blue skies ahead? Should we be getting excited? Well, there are still two things that usually happen, and I don't want to go out and say that they have to happen because obviously history can change, but every single time in the past when we've had these bottoms, we've always seen these two things happen, and neither of them have actually happened yet despite all of these red weeks that we've had. So is it not going to happen this time, or is it actually different? We're going to talk about that. And finally, a little bit of a conspiracy. Some people have pointed this out. Is Elon Musk potentially responsible for this Bitcoin pump, or does he know something that we don't? That's going to be fun. We're going to go over all that today. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely get subscribed. You don't want to miss these videos. So as we can see right here, guys, we were forming this pattern. It was boring. We knew it was the calm before the storm. We knew the volatility was coming, and we finally got it. Now you can see down here, we didn't technically close the CME futures gap, but also we do have this one up here. So we did make this attempt to close the bottom, and this is why I say that even if we do have a bit of a pullback or something like that, I still think that we're going to end up closing this up here, which could get Bitcoin up to around $35,000. Now that isn't our highest target, it's just a very probable target that I still do have on my radar. But you can see what's happening right here on the lower time frame. We are actually stopping right here. Now, even though we are still technically holding this as support, which is good, we did say that we wanted to see a bit of a retest of that previous resistance, right? So the most hardcore resistance is right here at around 30,600, and that's because you can see every single time, you know, Bitcoin got stopped out, right, over and over again. Yes, we did come down here a little bit, but look, once we bounced up, look where we found that resistance, right? We hovered there for over a day. So it would be very, very good if we could see Bitcoin come down here and retest that level and then have the bounce. And if that was the case, then I would definitely say that this trend is confirmed. We are going to go higher, at least in the short term. And if you are looking to long, that would be the safer option. I mean, obviously down here, we've had multiple opportunities, but that's actually confirming the move, confirming the breakout, right? Because a lot of people, they can get stopped out on these fake outs, right? So if you want to learn how to do that, check out the tutorial popping up above. There is $16,000 in bonuses below, as you know. But I also just want to add one other bit of caution, because if we actually do just extend this out, you know, just keep this line coming out here, there is that possibility that, you know, even if we do fall through this, we may actually come down and touch this, okay? So there's two levels we're going to keep our eyes on. Like I said, make sure you get subscribed, because if you want to know, well, we're going over this every day on the channel, so you don't want to miss out. But I do want to just mention, though, that Bitcoin was having that nice pump. We did stall out, and if we have a look at what stocks are doing right now, look at this. The S&P hitting that resistance right here and retesting support. So if the S&P can kind of stay in this channel, come back up, retest, same thing with Bitcoin, then I think we're going to see all of the markets move upwards. And we do know that, generally speaking, you know, if the S&P puts in 5%, usually Bitcoin does 8, 9, or 10%, right? Bitcoin usually moves faster in both directions. So, you know, in bear markets, it's obviously not that great. But, you know, when we're having these bullish sort of moves, these bounces, usually Bitcoin is going to put in a higher percentage. Now, we were definitely due. We talked about this. Not going to harp on this too much because we have way more things to go over in this video, but you can see held very nicely on this previous legacy support, got the bounce, and we are holding above the lows right here, got the test, got the bounce as well, right? So the ultimate target that we're looking for, which is really the one that Bitcoin, well, it's not just this target, there's a few other things, but ultimately, you can see right where these two lines are intersecting. You can see this right here, right? So you have this support coming up here, meeting this resistance slash support that we had actually, you know, we kept flip-flopping back and forth for basically almost the past year and a half. So that level, right where they intersect, is 41,251, this level right here. Now, if obviously it takes longer, then, you know, this trend is going to go higher and higher, which is going to make it higher for the price that the price would have to go right to break out. But I am saying that there is that possibility that we at least revisit this area, right? Or like Gareth Soloway calls it, the scene of the crime, right? That's what he calls it. So yeah, I mean, ultimately that would be the level that we are looking for. Now, here's the, just super quick before we get to the rest of it, because this is sort of like fun. This is the Elon Musk theory, that Elon Musk knew something, because he tweeted this picture on November 13th of 2021. And if you guys don't know who this is Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen comics, right? And this is him sitting on Mars. So maybe Elon was just having fun, you know, because he's into Mars. Remember, he said he'd rather die on Mars. So maybe it has something to just do with that. But the thing that people are pointing out is the dates that he posted this. So he posted this one on November 13th of 2021. And check this out. This is just for fun, guys. Just let me know. We're just having fun. But so November 13th of 2021 is right here, okay? Virtually, I mean, only within a few days of the top of this move, and then we continued on this massive downtrend, right? Now, we just recently did have this 10% pump right here, and yesterday, Elon Musk posted another picture from the comic, except, you know, in this one, he's facing away, and in this one, Dr. Manhattan is facing the camera or facing the reader, right? This was posted on May 28th, just a few days ago, and you can see on May 28th, when he posted it, is right here. So some people are saying, you know, if he posted the first picture up here and that was the top, does this mean that, you know, we're actually at the bottom? We're just having fun, but it is really interesting times to choose to post those two pictures. So does Elon know something we don't? Did he buy some? Is he responsible for the pump? I have no idea, but I just wanted to share that to you. So just having some fun with that. But getting back to more serious analysis, there is an extreme signal that did flash. And I want to give a major shout out to Alessio Rastani for pointing this out. You know, this guy's a seasoned veteran trader. Check him out. He's been investing for a long time. I highly recommend you check out his channel if you hadn't. But he broke down a very interesting metric. Now, you know how we always look at the fear and greed index? And obviously, you don't have to be a genius to know that you should buy extreme fear and you should sell extreme greed, right? But historically speaking, he takes the 5-period moving averages and he only looks at times when the 200 is actually moving downward. So it's obviously in a bear, it's in a negative slope. And what we end up finding is that there's all these times that are actually good potential opportunities to buy Bitcoin, or at least when this signal flashes and he goes over the returns. And a lot of people saying, well, you know, how much longer do we have to wait? You know, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, what's going on? Well, historically speaking, this is the data, and I think you will be quite surprised when you have to see what Alessio says.
Okay, here are the results of the backtest engine. And as you can see here, those red dots on my chart, have a look at those red dots. Those are the signals. So those red dots you see on the chart there are every single time we had extreme fear and pessimism based on the rules and criteria we applied. So you can see the last time was back in 2020. Then there was back in, I believe it was 2018. Yeah. And a few other times before that as well. And again, we'll have a look at the data. We'll have this data in a few minutes. But before we go on to that, let me first of all just show you some examples of this. So let's zoom in here. You can see that, yeah, that was the most recent reading, you can see. And before that, there it is. That was back in 2020. Look at this. Back in 2020, you remember the major crash we had on Bitcoin after the stock market crash at the beginning of the pandemic and the COVID crisis. So there it is. There's a red dot, and that coincided with just near the bottom there on Bitcoin before a substantial rally took place. By the way, you're probably wondering, how come these were not signals? Because you can see that the green line was below 20% here as well. Yes, guys, but remember, we applied a very strict criteria here in this particular experiment. As I said a few moments ago, we applied a 200 moving average to Bitcoin, and we want that moving average to be sloping down. So therefore, the criteria I've chosen for these signals is much more stricter than normal. Let's go now to this data. Okay, I want to show you now what the data is telling us. Again, this is courtesy of Jason Geppert of Sentiment Trader. And again, I want to show you what the statistics is telling us about every time this criteria is met. Again, remember, the criteria is this. Bitcoin, after the 5-period moving average of extreme pessimism, is less than 20%. And very importantly, remember, and we want the 200 moving average to be sloping down. So what are the results? Here's what we get. First of all, these are the signal dates. So the last one was 11th of May, as I discussed before. That was the 13th of March, 2020. Then November of 2018, August of 2015, April of 2015, and back in 2014, December of 2014 as well. Okay, now here's what we get going forward, the results. As you can see here, I'm going to show you in a few minutes the average returns, so average returns, median returns, and the win rate, the positivity rate as well in a few moments. But as you can see here, let's just focus first of all on the short term for now. On a short term basis for the next few weeks and months, yeah, as you can see here in this time window you're seeing here, yeah, I mean, it's not fantastic. As you can see here, there's a lot of volatility here. Some are positive, some are negative. In fact, the worst year for this was in 2018. I'm sure it's not surprising to you. 2018 was a major bear market for Bitcoin. Same goes for 2014. 2014, as you can see, also a bear market that year as well. So we have a lot of reds in those specific years. The other ones are generally positive. But the bottom line is this, that, again, it's not fantastic. The short term, the next few weeks and months. In fact, you can see the average returns. Let's have a look at this. The average returns and the median returns and the win rate over here. So you can see going for the next month, generally not brilliant. It's not fantastic. Some of them, the median returns are positive, but there was actually a negative average return within the first month. Again, that's mostly because of the bear markets we had in 2018 and 2014. Okay. Now, here's what's interesting. What's interesting is if you focus what happens after 6 months to 1 year. So have a look at this. In the 6 month to 1 year period, results improve quite dramatically. There was only one negative. That was back in 2014. But across the board, even in 2018, we had positive results. That's after 6 months from the signal, by the way. Overall, we had a win rate. You can see here in the 6 month window, we had a win rate or a positivity rating of 80% with a median return of 61%. It's not bad. But here's where it gets interesting. In the 1 year window, so after 1 year, okay, as you can see here, in fact, across the board, every single one of these is positive. We get positive returns across every signal, okay? And again, you can see the median. The median was what? The median was 94.65% after 1 year, okay? Again, this is not short term. This is long term after 1 year, 12 months period. And as you can see here, the win rate, the positivity rating is 100%. Why 100%? Because again, as I mentioned before, every single one of these is in the black, is positive, okay? So we have no reds. There are no reds here whatsoever, okay? Whereas there was one red here back in the 6 month period, which is why the win rate here is about 80%. By the way, it's worth mentioning that in the 3 month window, the median return is about 31.5% as well. Again, remember guys, these figures you're seeing here in the median box, in the median returns, these are not maximum, they're not minimum, they're median. So it's possible or even probable that Bitcoin may potentially outperform these median figures, okay? Or indeed underperform them even as well. But here's what I wanted to actually get across here. I think what this data is showing to us, and indeed what this chart over here is telling us here as well, is that we need to adopt a much more long-term perspective for Bitcoin. Because if you're focused only on the short term, well, the short term is not going to be fantastic probably, based on the criteria that I chose in this video, and based on the pessimism, the extreme pessimism, we can see that in the first few weeks and months, again, the median is positive. You can see the median is positive, sure, but it's not fantastic, okay? It's not brilliant. And again, we can see that there were some major exceptions here in the bear markets of 14 and 2018. Quite a lot of reds, as you can see here. So there's a mixture, there's a mixed bag of positive and negative. What the data is telling us is that instead we should adopt a much more long-term perspective for Bitcoin, again, in the 6 month to 1 year period. Because remember, as I mentioned before, in the 1 year period, the win rate or the positivity rating goes to 100%, okay? And the median is almost 100%, 94.65 or 95% after 1 year. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put in the price of Bitcoin on the date of the last signal, which I explained to you was on the 11th of May. At that point, Bitcoin was trading at 28,400, approximately there, okay, 20,400. I'll put it into the calculator. Plus, I'm going to apply the median after 1 year of 94.65%, okay? Let's put that also into the calculator. So plus 94.65%, that gives us 55,280 as our potential upside projection for Bitcoin. Again, based on the probabilities for 1 year from now. Again, guys, remember, this is a potential projection based on a median figure, not for the next few months, but likely by next year. In other words, May of 2023. Okay, now again, Bitcoin may potentially exceed this potential figure and projection.
So these are the ultimate buying opportunities that people look for. Now, obviously, it's not going to pinpoint it down to the exact dollar amount. In fact, in some cases, it even fell a little bit afterwards, right? But we do know, historically speaking, if we are in this area and we have fallen below some of these key levels, then having a look right here, we did point out that if we were to take this right here and put this over here, then that says that we should actually be on a full-on recovery by November of this year. However, if you watched my previous video, you know that we have actually seen shortening bear markets, which is quite interesting. More on that in a bit. We're going to go over that. But I do want to just talk about the two things, right? So the first thing that we have to talk about is they say amid warnings that miners' cost price is now above spot, creating the threat of capitulation similar to the bottom of the 2018 bear market, data suggested that panic has not yet set in. So they're saying it hasn't gotten worse. We have to get worse. It has to get worse, right? Before it gets better. We need more pain to flush everyone out. There's still too much optimism. That's what they're saying. So Bitcoin miners are regarded as smart money and speculators in the Bitcoin market, according to Analyst Venture founder. As Bitcoin price recovers, Bitcoin miners have not shown any trend of net distribution. In fact, the net accumulation trend, which started in July 2021, continues. This chart right here shows that miners have increased their Bitcoin reserves in the second half of May in particular. So if we have a look over here, right, and we're looking for this miner capitulation, well, we haven't actually gotten that signal yet, which is really, really crazy considering, we got it right here on this COVID wick, but we haven't gotten it even though we had how many months? 2 months essentially of just nothing but red candles. Very, very interesting. So my question is, does it have to happen this time? Maybe we don't have to get the capitulation to actually form the bottom. Going back over here, as I showed you guys, the other thing that we haven't done yet is we didn't touch the 200, right? Every time we touch this 200 weekly, we know that that is often a very good time for a bottom, except right here, we didn't actually get down to it. So the thing is we do know that this is going to move up over time slowly, right? So even if Bitcoin was to trade sideways like this, come up here, fake everyone out, there's a potential that we could end up touching it, all the way here at some point. Now that would go against the theory, right, that we would be recovering within that time period. But the other thing is, if we do go back to this chart, remember, as I showed you guys yesterday, whenever we do get these bear market dips, especially the ones that go below the 21 exponential, I showed you right here. So once we fell back below it, right back here, you could see the first time we fell below it was September of 2014. It actually took us 14 months to actually have that recovery and come back to the same levels. Fast forward to this one right here. As soon as we fell below the 21 exponential, this only took 7 months. So that's half. We went from 14 to 7. So now, if we're going to go half of 7, that would be 3.5. So maybe, just maybe this time, we're only going to stay under this level for about 3.5 months before we get back above it, right? So that means that in 3.5 to maybe, let's say, 4 months, Bitcoin should be trading at around that $38,000 level, which, coincidence, is the exact level of major resistance that we've been looking for. So this is what we need to keep our eyes on moving forward. And also, the other thing as well is if we have a look right here, the main moving average, I believe to be one of the most important, including the 21 exponential, is obviously the 600 daily. And the only reason I break this out is because you could see whenever we're in between the 200 weekly and the 600 daily, this is sort of just that bear zone, right? But it does present good buying opportunities. So the same way that we were back here, right? When we were in this area, provided great buying opportunities. And here we are yet again back within this area. So even if Bitcoin does come down, retest the 200 weekly, or let's say, we don't, let's say we wait a little longer till it comes up. Ultimately, this level right here is historically speaking the best opportunity for accumulating Bitcoin. And not to mention, guys, the DXY has been falling. We're seeing a little bit of a pump right here on the weekly, but ultimately we know that every time the dollar hits these levels, boom, we go down, and it looks like we're going down again. So I would expect some support right here at around the 100. But if we don't see the DXY get to 100, then, excuse me, not if we don't see, but until we see it reclaimed that resistance as potential support. I do think you're going to see things like Bitcoin and the S&P continue to pump. And essentially you could see the S&P has already, just on this daily candle, retested, fell below on the fake out, and is now already moving upwards. So we're not even done with the day yet. We obviously have the rest of the week to go. So we have to see how we end, but we could start seeing at least that relief for the broader market. So that is something to mention. And also like Terra Luna right here. Terra Luna is up 39% today. But the one thing that I want you guys to just keep in mind with the altcoins right now, you may see altcoins pumping in their dollar comparative, but right here, you can still see, if I zoom in, guys, that we are having. Why is this not going to auto? Because I want it to do it, so it doesn't want to do it. Okay, we'll just do this manually. Gotta love TradingView, guys. Anyway, so yeah, right here, look at this, guys. We're still pushing up. So I don't anticipate us stopping any Bitcoin dominance until we get to about 47, or actually 48%. So we still have about, 1.3% left. Until then, I might consider there being a little bit of reversal. Then maybe the altcoins really start to rally compared to their not ETH BTC, but their BTC ratio, right? But that is it for me today, guys. Let me know what you think about the charts. Are you feeling excited? Are you bullish? You think it's just a little fake out rally? You think this is the real deal? And do you think Elon Musk knows something that we don't? Probably not, but that is one heck of a coincidence, you must admit. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed your 3-day weekend. And, for those of you that, maybe had to work yesterday, it was actually incredibly hot here in New York. Freakishly hot for this time of year, actually above 90. So really, really hot yesterday. But anyway, guys, summer's here. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. I love you. You're awesome. Make sure you get subscribed. And also, if you haven't seen these videos popping up right here, right now, just take your finger. If you're on a phone, click it, check it out. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.